fighting against oppression. Ooh, yeah. Battering down depression. Oh yeah, whoa, ooh, yeah, whoa. Are you ready to stand up and fight the right revolution? Are you ready to stand up and fight it just like soldiers? Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. Ooh, yeah, whoa. Ooh, yeah, whoa. Gotta fight the right fight in this time, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you ready to stand up and fight the right revolution? Are you ready to stand up and fight it just like soldiers? Many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. If you wanna live forever, you gotta love each other. Say you gotta live on forever, yeah. And love one another. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Welcome. For those of you that may know reggae or whatever, that's Dennis Brown. I found that song fitting. Is basically saying, "Are you ready for the revolution?" Right? Many are called, few are chosen. For those of you who are Christian, that's in the scripture. That's Bible's not all bad. There are some good things in there, but this is kind of like we're talking on like revolutionary talk right now. So right now we're talking about Black people complaining about Cory Booker. If you see the thumbnail, is Black people complaining about Cory Booker, and I can't understand why they're complaining about them if they know what's going on politically. So I'm going to tackle that first, and then the second part of this segment is going to be FBA, have a love-hate for white people. Saying they say, they're fighting white supremacy and they don't like white people, but at the same time, they hold a lot of white supremacist, Eurocentric ideologies, that they have. And plus that, so they're more in line with white people and Europeans, as well as, they're saying they're fighters, but if you have to ask somebody for something that's rightfully yours, that's not a real fight. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have to get reparations from white people. You know what I'm saying? So they have a very particular, straddling the fence type of relationship they have with white people. So we're going to get into that. As you see the thumbnail on there are white people that are FBAs, and it seems that FBA has a problem with that, despite the fact that Tariq Nasheed, saying is pretty much a divester of Black women. He likes, white women or anything close adjacent to a white woman, but we'll get into that soon. So that'll be our last segment on that we do there. But right now, what I'm going to do, for those you don't know, Cory Booker did a historic monumental speech, somewhat of a filibuster he did on the floor. And it was monumental. It broke a record. Before that was someone else who also had a record before that he took. We're going to get into who that is. But right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, right, why is it so monumental? why it is very important to capsulize this moment and build upon this moment as of to get anything further done politically, to see why we need to get this done, right? And then I'm going to show you the the naysayers, the people who see this in a negative light, and then you all just make your own decision as of to why they will see something as, why would this be negative. So I'm doing this because it really got me a little bit upset. Again, people that I consider the naysayers, these are supposed to be your quote unquote pro black people, whatever, that want the best for black people, and I'm trying to figure out why they find disdain in this moment. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show you why this moment is a historical moment, and then we're gonna look at what the naysayers are saying. Right? So hold on one moment. Let me pull this up. So let me go right here to this Yahoo article right here. Right? Yahoo News, pretty much a bipartisan news outlet, right? Well, Los Angeles Times, letters to the editor, bravo Senator Cory Booker for standing up to Trump and standing for 25 hours, right? Senator Cory Booker speaks on the Senate floor on Tuesday. To the editor, Senator Cory Booker is amazingly brave, physically strong, and stand and speak over 25 hours in the Senate. Senator Cory Booker with the marathon Senate speech opposing Trump's agenda. April 1st, the New Jersey Democrats spoke up for all Americans who value our shared democratic history and elements that make our daily living worthwhile. Public health departments, medical research, clean air and water, weather reports, air travel, reproductive health, health insurance, civil rights protection, voter rights, respect our allies, and not pretending on pandering to dictators, to name a few. So all these are mostly should be American agendas, but obviously Republicans, and especially this new administrative regime, right? They're not for public health. Remember, Donald Trump said, "What are you going to do about you don't like Obamacare and everything like that?" He had over a decade to figure out. He said he has a concept plan, still have no plan, right? But he's going after Medicare. He's going after Social Security, right? So that's public health departments, medical research, where they're supposed to be. They thought it was, they're so hateful. They're thinking that, oh, they're doing all these millions of dollars for transgender mites when it's transgenic. So when it's transgenic mites, just do medical research. Again, Republicans aren't the smartest people. If you take a poll, the least educated people, right, percentage are Republican voters. Democratic voters and people on the left have more education, right? So we all know that any medical research is done on mice before it's done. When it goes to these clinical trials, it's done on mice. But they don't understand that clean air, of course, they're against clean air. Donald Trump wants to be fracking on national land, so he's against trying to roll back those regulations. Joe Biden put certain things in place where Trump just can't go fracking on national land, like like parks and like Yellowstone and these national parks, to where it's supposed to be protected, right? They don't care about the environment, and so on and so forth, right? So that is very true. So these are very good initiatives, right? Booker should have been on the front page above fold of the center. Broke Senator Strom Thurmond's 1957 record for a filibuster. Strom Thurmond, right? That's the record who he broke, right? And we're going to get into why that's important. Bravo Booker for trying to wake up the Republicans and trying to save our democracy. Right, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Let me read this last one. What Booker did beyond is beyond extraordinary. It is a showing of courage, integrity, and leadership that has been solely lacking from our elected leaders, which is true. Democrats, they don't have a lot of fight. That's one thing I love about the Republicans. They lie with a straight face and they do it with vigor. Right. He's speaking truth to power, standing up to a bully, which is Trump, and Musk and remind the American people that it is us who ultimately holds the power to determine our government. He has asked America to help him take take back our country from a delusional demagogue, and now it's up to us to respond. Thank you, Senator Cory Booker, for your incredibly principled stand in defense of the rule of law, our Constitution, and our way of life. Right? So that's what he's done so far, right? So we're going to get into it further. I don't know if anyone knows anything what's going on. I don't understand how some people could disagree, but that's what this is about. People disagreeing. So let me show you some other clips of pretty much of what he did. It's 24 hours, so obviously I'm not even going to play even an hour of it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm going to share with you an idea of what it is, so you guys can have an idea of what it is and what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to start right here.
I don't think what Cory Booker did last night did nothing. I think it's important. I think that it has galvanized a movement in the United States, a country where right now, in the state of Idaho, a story I've covered, a teacher is being asked to remove, being ordered to remove, being commanded to remove signs like these, that everyone is welcome here. That in this room, everyone is welcome. Everyone is important. Everyone is accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. And
yeah, so I'm gonna go back to that sign. So it was a teacher that, as he said, she had that in her classroom, and the administration of the school said you gotta take that down. It was like, why? Oh, due to the political climate, everything is going on. We can't have that. We don't. How everyone is leaning right now politically. So what? So I had to take down where it said everyone is included, everyone is welcome here, everyone is respected, and everything like that. And that's divisive. Like what? And she refused to take it down, but then eventually she had to end up taking it down. Yada yada yada. So that's a glimpse into the political climate that's going on here right now, right? So
that in this room, everyone is welcome. Everyone is important. Everyone is accepted, respected.
And she had to take that down because we know this administration, even though you got the MAGA coons and the MAGA goons and all, like third party and people who voted for the couch, they don't feel that this is important. Right. But these are the first people to cry foul and say, oh my God, what's happening? Or look the other way and blame the Democrats, which why I have no idea. It's just sad.
Encouraged, valued, and equal. And those are divisive statements in the Republican Party. They want to bring us back to a time of segregation. They want to erase the accomplishments of individual Black Americans. They want to erase Black culture.
And I'm letting him go. This is Jesse Dollamore. He's an advocate or whatever. When I say it doesn't matter, but Negroes, if a white man says it, gotta be true. A white man said it. It gotta be true. And then the gears in the brain start turning and considering what is being said. So I'm letting him go in because Negroes don't care if politically if a Black person is an advocate for Black rights, right? So hey, here's a white man for you. He's telling you. So hey, it got to be true. So I'm gonna let him go because he made a lot of crucial points, especially saying what he's saying
in this country. So when a man like Cory Booker stands for 25 plus hours, no bathroom breaks, no food, no chair to rest in for just a moment. And he breaks the record of a vile, racist segregationist like Strom Thurmond. And if you're not familiar with who Strom Thurmond is, Strom Thurmond was, thankfully, we all go at some time. And it's always a good thing to celebrate the death of a racist. This, to give you a little taste for the man who had the previous record for the longest speech in a filibuster. This is him.
There's not enough troops in the army to force the Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race into our theaters, into our swimming pools, into our homes, and into our churches.
I met Strom Thurmond.
Yeah, so that's who Strom Thurmond is, right? And he held that record that Cory Booker, I keep calling him Cory Bush, Cory Booker record that broke. So that's historic. I find that historic. So I'm going to play that speech again, that little snippet of, Strom Thurmond saying the things that he said, so we could drive through some of our heads to understand who this person really is.
This is him.
There's not enough troops in the army to force the Southern people to break down segregation and admit the Negro race into our theaters, into our swimming pools, into our homes, and into our churches.
I met Strom Thurmond a couple of different times, maybe 3 times when I worked.
So yeah, so I find that someone piece of shit like Strom Thurmond, who was talking against Black people and just segregating, that was against segregation in schools and swimming pools. You heard what he said, right? And I find it very satisfying and pleasing, right? And justice that a Black man is on the Senate floor breaking his record, talking against everything that he stood for in this day and age, which would be the Trump regime, talking about all the things, because they're rolling everything back, taking on the rights that Black people do have, trying to roll back the rights that Black people do have on Board of Education, what we see what's going on in Target, because Target, we gotta bend the knee to Trump and take away all of the things, the vendors that as far as like beauty products and anything that Black people have and sell, that Target sell, they took that out, so supposed to boycott Target because you don't even want Black vendors. So we can't even, be on the same playing field economically, and when it comes to capitalism, right? As well as other things, right? Heard about the Tuskegee and what's going on with the Black museum. He wants to shut down the Black museum, right? And the Smithsonian. This is what all Trump is doing, right? So, yeah, I find it very, very, very satisfying that Cory Booker did what he did.
Work for the Senate, not like in a meeting or some high level thing, but just I'm a young 20-something in the halls of the Capitol and bump into Strom Thurmond and like, oh my God, this is an icon of American history, a dreg of American history. He walked about the Capitol with the same sense of entitlement that white supremacists often do. Same guy. I think fewer than 2 minutes of Cory Booker, of a moment that I think is important.
I'm getting close to a record, folks, but there's a room here in the Senate named after Strom Thurmond. To hate him was wrong. And maybe my ego got too caught up that if I stood here, maybe, just maybe I could break this record of the man who tried to stop the rights upon which I stand. I'm not here, though, because of his speech. I'm here despite his speech. I'm here because as powerful as he was, the people were more powerful. But I remind you, all those people who believe like me that we've got to redeem the dream, turn again to John Lewis, because you all know the story, my colleagues, of when the man that beat him savagely, drew blood, cracked bones. Decades later, he was a congressman. That man brought his grandson with him to ask for forgiveness from John Lewis. I heard about this story when I was in the car in Georgia with him. What did you do, John? This man that so viciously beat you, wounded you, bruised you, battered you. What did you do when he came to ask you for forgiveness? What did you do? And a good Christian man of faith, simply said, every one of us needs mercy. Every one of us needs redemption. I forgave him. I hugged him. We wept. And I looked at the boy. This nation needs you too.
I talk a lot about style, a lot about tactic, a lot about how one behaves and what kind of energy they bring to the fight. Cory Booker, a different kind of character than me. He's not wrong, but just because he's not wrong doesn't mean my tack, which is more aggressive, that it's wrong either.
And I agree with that. If I was John Lewis, I want to handle it different or whatever, but I do understand what they're saying. I agree with the host here, Jesse. I would be obviously way more aggressive. I wouldn't have been as merciful, but to each his own, right? So I get that. So it's going to play a little bit more. It's going to play a little bit more of the speech, pretty much the conclusion of the speech and how it ended. And we'll talk about it after that.
In American history.
And so I end by saying simply this. Where I started was John Lewis. I don't know how to solve this. I don't know how to stop us from going down this road. Chuck Schumer's now told me that they're greasing the skids to do these things. I'm sorry. But I know who does have the power. The people of the United States of America. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It is time to heed the words of the man I began this whole thing with, John Lewis. I beg folks to take his example of his early days where he made himself determined to show his love for his country at a time the country didn't love him, to love this country so much, to be such a patriot that he endured beatings savagely on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, at lunch counters, on freedom rides. He said he had to do something. He would not normalize.
So I'm stopping it here because we have, I'll say the younger generation, not including myself. I don't consider myself young. When I say the younger generation, that's talking about people in their 30s and 20s. They got this wave of saying that the civil rights era has failed us, right? Not saying all people that generation is saying that. The civil rights era, I don't understand because the civil rights era has made monumental changes and movements for Black people in this country. So when you say the civil rights era has failed, right, and you see the protests, them dogs being sucked on them being hosed down, them being beaten, all the things. Basically, when I hear people say that you want Jim Crow to be implemented, remind you, I'm talking about Black people who are quote unquote pro-Black. So you agree with Byron Donalds and saying during Jim Crow, families were more together. The Black family was more together. That's what they sound like, right? Is that what you say? Is that what you're saying? So you're saying you don't want the right to vote, or if you do want the right to vote, you want to be terrorized? You want to be terrorized? Don't have any rights for you just going about your business. You go into the store. You go into a lunch counter. You shopping. Right? You want to be said, you want to be told that, nigga, you can't be here, go around the back. Or nigga, you can't be here at all. This is whites only. Nigga, what you doing using that fountain? Get out that whites only bathroom. You're gonna get arrested. Is this what we're talking about here? Is this a serious conversation when they're saying that the civil rights era has failed us? What did they fail in doing? The fact that you could sit here and talk shit about white supremacy this, white supremacy that. That's you having your freedom of speech. You think during the 40s and 50s you could talk that? You could sound like you could talk that way? No, you can't. I know I'm going a little bit of rant, but when I hear that, I know what the so-called pro-black people are going to say, here we go again, John Lewis. Yeah, I'm not saying John Lewis is the end all be all, right? Build upon what they did. Build upon what Martin Luther King did. Build upon about what Bernard Rustin did. Build upon what all these civil rights, Harry Belafonte, Stokely Carmichael, all these people that were part of the civil rights movement. Build upon what they did, because y'all ain't doing anything significant to move the needle even further. So how dare you discredit and disparage those people that have moved the needle for you to even have a voice?
It's a moment like this. He would not just go along with business as usual. He wouldn't know how to solve it. But there's one thing that he would do that I hope we all can do, that I think I did a little bit of tonight. He said for us to go out and cause some good trouble, necessary trouble, to redeem the soul of our nation. I want you to redeem the dream. Let's be bold in America, not demean and degrade Americans, not divide us against each other. Let's be bolder in America with a vision that inspires, with hope that starts with the people of the United States of America. That's how this country started. We, the people. Let's get back to the ideals that others are threatening. Let's get back to our founding documents, that those imperfect geniuses had some very special words at the end of the Declaration of Independence. Was one of the greatest in all of humanity declarations of interdependence. When our founder said we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We need that now from all Americans. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
So that's, he did 25 plus hours. That's crazy, right? So that's the speech for the most part. I don't hear anything that, from what I showed you, we also can't, it's hard to capitalize 25 hours of what he said, but I challenge anyone to, say, hey, look at what he said. I totally disagree, But everything he was saying was basically pretty much the truth, and it's commendable, right? He broke a record of Strom Thurmond, right? Hopefully the next thing to do is take off that whatever room they have named after Strom Thurmond, need to replace that, because to me, that's just as like having a Confederate flag just waving in that room, or a Confederate emblem in that room, because we know what that man represented. Hopefully they get to remove that down. So this is very commendable about Cory Booker, what he did, and it is historic, right? I'm gonna give you guys a little small, quick history into who Strom Thurmond was, just real quick. Not gonna do like a real deep dive, but I found this to be interesting of who Strom Thurmond is. Right, so here we go.
Strom Thurmond is remembered today as one of the great American hypocrites. He was the firebrand segregationist who had a black daughter. This was the revelation that came out after.
He was a segregationist that had a black daughter. Do the research on it. His daughter, he never claimed her or whatever, right? They all talk about in past tense. After Strom Thurmond died, his black daughter came out and said, yes, I'm his daughter, yada, 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 yada. And his granddaughter, because obviously don't claim her either, but his daughter had a daughter too. And she did a whole book and everything on it about, all the stories that her mother told me and what she had to go through. I think her mother was a maid that worked for Strom Thurmond, right, in the house. So he's a segregationist. The all thing about these racists, man, they hate black people and they can't stand black people. Black people are animals. Black people are intelligent, but you're having sex with them, like Thomas Jefferson. That's the thing I don't understand about white people. Oh, we're beast. We're like beast of the field. So you into bestiality because you're having sex with black women and black men. Like racism is such a stupid thing. It's like, yeah, they're no good. Yeah, but you can sleep with them. During slavery, where we have wet nurses. You have black women that were wet nurses that used to breastfeed white children. Like, make it make sense. Anyway, we'll continue. I just find that to be interesting.
After his death, we also know Thurman as the Dixiecrat candidate in 48, the author of the Southern Manifesto in 56, and the record holder, even to this day, of the longest filibuster, 24 hours and 18 minutes that he spoke.
24 hours and 18 minutes, but we know that was broken by Cory Booker
Against the 1957 Civil Rights Act.
And it was against the 1957 Civil Rights Act. Again, what Cory Booker did was monumental, especially in this day and age where you have the Trump regime is trying to roll back everything that black people has fought for, right? Has fought for. Like I said before, and some people are having a hard time what DEI is. If you're not a white Christian able-bodied male meaning like you don't have any handicaps, right? You're DEI. So if you're a woman, you're DEI. If you're a white man that's a vet, because they took away a lot of vet services. They took away jobs from vets, on vet suicide hotlines, on Medicare for veterans, right? That's for all people. Remember, it's the Republican Party. Oh, protect the troops and Blue Lives Matter and all this other bullshit that they say. They don't mean it, right? So DEI, that's who you are. But what DEI means, if you're not a straight white able-bodied Christian male, you are DEI. So that's like 97% of the country. You know what I'm saying? So 97% of the country, I'm not saying that's an accurate number, but it's in the 90 percentile that is mostly all of America, right? All of America. So we all should be upset. So I don't understand Negroes shitting on this moment right now. I really don't.
We know Thurman as one of the last of the Jim Crow demagogues. But what I argue in the book is what we forget is that he was also one of the first of the Sun Belt conservatives, that he was a national political figure.
In life, as a New Deal Democrat and a segregationist, he ended up as a Republican who'd repudiated segregation. Did he have political?
So I just wanted to show you that real quick. So that's what you can check this out if you want to know more. It's from Emory University. It's about this guy writing this book about who Strom Thurmond was, but we get the gist of who he is. So what I'm going to do now, certain things, maybe our brother. My bad. Hold on a second. My bad. I gotta grab that again. My bad, y'all. So anyway, so there was certain things I don't know. Maybe our brother Bakari will be back up here, but he dropped a gem on me, right? And it's very important for me to mention this. So again, I'm not here in total defense of whatever Cory Booker done in his recent past or further past or anything like that. I'm just here to shed a light on this moment in time right now, right? So one thing that I can appreciate that Cory Booker did. So you have Donald Trump, he screwed over all farmers, right? He screwed over all the farmers. You have farmers that had took out loans and government contracts that they had lined up. So they spent a lot of money, saying, okay, I'm going to get this government contract. So they bought a lot of things. They took loans out and things of that nature. So, they could take care of the harvest and stuff like that. We all should know that it was rescinded and they defaulted on their contract. So now those farmers are assed out, right? Let's not even talk about black farmers. Trump really didn't do anything for black farmers. But right here, you had the Afrikaners, right? The white people in South Africa. Trump was trying to bring them into America, right? So he's he's more concerned. Well, President Musk, he's more concerned about the white people in South Africa being mistreated than anything. But he's going to bring them over here and replace the white ones anyway. So I found this to be very interesting about Cory Booker, and I feel this is commendable. This is a black agenda, so it's not just talk. At least he's doing something. So what we have here, this is Congress.gov. So you have this bill, this act right here, Justice for Black Farmers Act of 2023. Sponsor Senator Cory Booker. Introduced January 26, 2023. Committee, Senate, Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. Right? So Cory Booker is putting the act for justice for black farmers. That is very commendable. Right? So for people that's saying, well, he's just there not to do anything. He's not there. He's just a figurehead, whatever. I'm not saying the guy is perfect. I'm in New York. I kind of know his politics a little bit. Nothing that I aggressively disagree with, per se. There's way other bigger fish to fry or way more other important things than Cory Booker of New Jersey. So again, this is a move in the right direction here. So you can check out this bill that he has. So he is trying to move the needle for black people and black farmers in some way, shape, or form. Now, hopefully, if I'll research him a little bit more, hopefully I'll find, other good things that he's doing for black people as well as constituents. But he is a black man in New Jersey. I remember seeing a documentary about him, about his parents getting a home and how the white people wouldn't sell his parents the home. And he knew some white people that went there to say, okay, can we get this home? And say, yeah, sure, you can buy this home's for sale. But every time when black people went to go buy it, they said, oh no, it's not for sale. It was already sold. But we got some people here on YouTube saying that all white people are evil. There's no good in them, fucking hurt retards or whatever. That makes no sense. So I don't know why they did that. So that's how his parents were able to get the home that he grew up in, because you had white people pretty much doing a sting operation, and the white people bought the house from the racist white people, and they turned it over to Cory Booker's parents. So I found that to be a crazy pivotal story. So yeah, anyway, so this is what it is right now. So yeah, you just study the Justice for Black Farmers Act of 2023. So now that we have seen what he has done, right, as far as the filibuster and everything, so we are going to go to the naysayers and see if they have a point. We all know what the political climate is right now, what Trump is doing, especially with the tariffs, right, and the stock market going down, the S&P going down like 1,400 points. It's catastrophic. It's catastrophic. It's historically catastrophic in this point in time in history, right? So that's all what's going on right now. So let's see what the naysayers are saying, or the people who has a quote unquote critique or constructive criticism of the Cory Booker speech. So here we have the guys here from the To Be Fair show, and I wish I could have spoke on this prompt, but I wasn't able to. But let's see what they got to say.
Like, keep them all like.
Elon got like 13 kids, and nobody talk about that.
Yeah. Well, they kind of do. They do. Except
he is the richest man in the world, so I'll probably have about 80 kids.
They're talking about Elon Musk. They're talking about Elon Musk right now. That's what they're talking about. So they're saying he got 13 kids and yada yada yada.
Kids myself too, if I was him.
Yeah.
They say quiet too.
So basically, they're saying if Elon Musk has a lot of kids and A Black, which is really cool dude, I agree with him like 90% of the times or whatever. But only push back to that would be like, hey, I'm a millionaire, I got a whole bunch of kids. So, okay, what does that even mean? So that's what being a man is. That's what being rich is. Me just have a whole bunch of kids and not being accountable for them, but I don't. But that part of fatherhood is just me giving them money. That's it. I gave my baby moms, I gave your moms 20 mil. So yeah, we good. I'm a man. I'm a real man. Like, that's not manhood.
Yeah, they got the
They
money.
stay pretty quiet.
They paid off.
Like, you keep them all like.
Well,
and
I think that come with power too. Like, when you're the richest man in the world, there's a certain muscle you can flex.
If you're richest man in the world, anybody muscle you're flexing is your dick. Like, what? If you there's dudes out here that only have 15% of Elon Musk's wealth, and they got a whole bunch of kids all over the place. You got your Nick Cannons, a bunch of other rappers and stuff like that, and they're doing that. That's what make you a man. Look, I don't know how many kids they got or whatever. I have 5. Right? There's not enough time in the day to really be attentive and give your children all of the attention that you would like to have. You know what I'm saying? You see some people, they have like 1 kid or maybe 2, stuff like that. Oh my God, it's so hard because you want to keep on top of them, make sure they're doing what they have to do. We all know children is work. But here we are, we're saying, oh, I can have a whole bunch of kids, 13, 14, 15 kids. What's the big deal? That's unfair to your child. How much time? Elon Musk is not even spending time with his children. People are going on Twitter. His baby mom's going on Twitter saying, hey, you haven't spoken to your son, daughter, whatever. One of them had like special needs that he was neglecting. They go on Twitter attacking him. This is a man to them? Just because he has money makes him a man? I totally disagree with that. That's not what a man is.
Yeah, you can throw a girl 20 million and it won't hurt you.
Yeah.
Again, with the money thing. Money makes you a man. Having a lot of money makes you a man. Being accountable for the children, making sure your children is good. He's not even on top of that, right? Makes you a man. No, it doesn't. It makes you a rich asshole. It makes you a rich deadbeat dad. And yes, you can be a rich deadbeat dad. If you're not around raising your children in your children's life, you're a deadbeat dad.
All right. So nonetheless, a lot of Twitter, TikTok, I guess he broke some TikTok records or something like that. There has been a lot of talk about Cory Booker. Cory Booker went viral yesterday. I'll push play on it. We can kind of talk about it. Again, we'll start with the left. Is this something? Is it nothing? Talk to me, fellas.
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
All right, so nonetheless, that was him breaking the quote unquote filibuster.
Where there's no context. It was just Chuck Schumer talking to him. Like, there's no context. Like, what are they commenting on? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. What are they commenting on? He just cut it. This is a bad clip. This is not giving you. You know what? Let me just play it, man. It is what it is, right?
Longest speech record in Congress, I believe, or the Senate. Is this something? Is it nothing? Talk to me, fellas.
It's nothing. Yeah, I think it's ironic that we say that all Democrats do is talk, and then here come a Democrat talking for 25 hours.
So again, A Black is cool. I like him. I totally disagree with him on this right now, saying all Democrats do is talk. Again, if all Democrats doing is talking, why is your ass not in the field? If all Democrats do is talk, why are you able to go in white spaces? If you see what I'm trying to say, is going back to, well, Democrats do nothing, So I'm either going to be a Republican, third party, or sit on the couch. You know what I'm saying? It's a sad, ambiguous political position to be in because it doesn't make any sense. But I'll let him keep on going. But already discrediting what he did, which is historic, which is talk about against racists, right? Talking about what is happening in this country as far as the little rights that black people and other people do have is being rolled back, and him speaking against the Trump regime and their fascism. But according to them, it's nothing.
I'm like, all right, what's the significance? How is this going to help us? Did he say anything that is going to really change anything? And I ain't watched the whole 25 hours. I try to watch some long clips, and at the time, I feel like he's about to cry, but it made me think about.
So again, I don't understand how he watched all these things and all, and this is what he's saying. Like I don't get it. And it's not that I'm speechless. It's just that it's frustrating. Like, what you mean? Number one, all Democrats do right now, because we don't control any house right now. We don't control the executive or anything like that. So all you could do is stir the pot, make noise, and cause a ruckus, and do something that gives attention. Like the whole he said it went viral, right? So people are paying attention now. So what are they supposed to do? Do a January 6th? Like, come on, man.
Once again, how fake the Democrats are. I remember, I don't know, he was running, I don't know if he was in their primaries for something. He was running for something, and they was calling him soft, calling him spineless, talking about the money he took from AIPAC, talking about like his record, and basically like, saying that he was dating that girl, what's her name, Zoe, some actress chick, Rosaldo.
Again, I don't know what all of this has to do with right now, and that's what they're doing. They pivot, right? So that's like me talking bad about Kanye. Kanye say, "Hey, I'm a Nazi right now," and someone says, "But Kanye West made good music. He made the Dropout, and okay, and Kofi, you liked his album. You got his first 3 albums, so and you was dancing and bopping." What does that have to do with right now with Kanye West saying he's a goddamn Nazi? Why are you pivoting to something else that got nothing to do with this? It's a very weak ass, sad pivot. What they're doing to make your point. Like, this is what they're doing. This is something like this. That's what I'm saying. This is something like Republicans would do. This is something that Jason Whitlock would say. They're taking just Jason Whitlock, Byron Donald talking points.
But saying that she was
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson. She was a beard for him.
I give him credit for that. I mean, absolutely.
But after the campaign, it was gone. They were saying that he was using her as like a beard, basically, or whatever.
What's a beard again?
A beard is what a gay guy uses a woman to look straight.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just like, Cory Booker?
He's on his TMZ shit right now. This is TMZ bullshit. This is not, you can't take this shit seriously.
That's y'all king now? Like, when did he become? It just keeps showing the desperate.
Who said Cory Booker is a king or a leader? That's why I'm thinking like these dudes is like they kind of Republican minded. Only person who has like an authoritarian culture's mindset politically are just Trump supporters, where Trump could do no wrong, right? And so far, they're shitting on Cory Booker, but they're not saying the content of what Cory Booker is speaking about, because he's speaking against fascism. He's speaking against all the things that Trump has been doing with tanking the economy, right? The whole Doge, taking Elon Musk saying that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Elon Musk taking away people's jobs. They're going after the Board of Education, just firing people. They're not going to talk about the content of what Cory Booker is talking about. You're going to attack Cory Booker personally on some TMZ bullshit.
Separation of Democrats and the performativeness, the symbolicness, but nothing comes from it. Like, okay, he broke strong thumb record for talking long. Like, why is that a big deal? Like, nobody's been able to explain it to me yet.
So we're gonna say that our brother A Black don't know a goddamn thing what he's talking about, which is fine, which is cool. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? We know who Strom Thurmond is. We know what he represents, and we know by Cory Booker breaking his record, right? Strom Thurmond talking against civil rights and integration. Cory Booker did that, spoke longer than him, right? Speaking against people like Strom Thurmond, like your J.D. Vances and your Trumps and all these people, the Trump regime, all these people talking against them. That's why A Black, what Cory Booker did is monumental, right? And all we could do is talk loudly and bring attention to what is going on right now, because right now this is what you guys want. You guys either didn't vote for Kamala at all or you voted for the couch. So this is something that you guys ushered in, right? And this is why the Democrats are in this position right now where all they have to do things like that, because everything went to the Republicans.
Repeating a bunch of stuff that's been circulating. Oh, he's attacking President Trump. Who cares, bro? Like, can y'all do something of significance to really flex y'all muscles? Like, this is more talking.
What muscle? We don't have the numbers in the House or the Senate or the executive branch. I mean, the judicial sector, they're doing good. Like they're rolling back a lot of things of Trump executive orders and things like that. Supreme justices, they kind of coming through. You know what I'm saying? They kind of, which is surprising, because that was like the last line of defense. So what is A Black talking about? Can you do something? What can they do? This is all that they could do. Like, what are you talking about?
More hallelujah, kumbaya. Oh, he said that. This whole clapbackism that is in Democratic Party with
all these ambiguous statements that says nothing, that has no context to it.
The Jasmine and all clapback. He said this. He said, okay, bet. But what is it going to mean? Like, I don't know.
So I agree with a lot of what you say, but where I would disagree is that I agree that with your points about it being a bunch of talking ultimately doesn't mean anything. But I think for people who identify as Democrats, it is something. It is something that.
So again, our brother Rel, you saw my other video. Our brother Rel said, hey, our guys, our group, we're more conservative. So these guys were pretty much on the MAGA train. If they're not on the MAGA train, at least they're in the goddamn station. You know what I'm saying? Because if you as a black man, this doesn't matter to you, right? You're more aligned with the Byron Donald. You're more conservative. Our brother Rel said that our guys are more conservative, right? So these are people that will align themselves on the right. So as black conservatives, it's their job to undermine anything progressive or anything progressive for the rights of black people. So it's kind of, again, a weird space to be in, because you want him to do something, but then you chastise him when he does something. You know what I'm saying? For the benefit and good of black people. It makes no sense. So he says, as a liberal, yes, I'm a liberal. I consider myself a liberal. I'm an independent, but I'm an independent that's more on the right. Because yes, as a liberal, you have to, especially as a black man. Again, I spoke about DEI. If you know anything about this country and its constitution and its amendments, right? Laws weren't made for us. Things had to be amended. Bills had to be enacted, right? So those are liberal bills, liberal agenda. If you're not a white man, like I said before, if you're not an able-bodied, straight Christian white man, by default, you'll be a liberal. Because when the Constitution was made in its inception, it didn't consider anybody else but white men, white Christian men, well, not Christian men, but white men. So to be a black man and to be a conservative, to me, in that definition, when it comes to laws and how laws are being implemented in the history of this country, you're anti-black automatically. You may not know that. You may talk a good game or whatever, but if you're leaning more politically on the conservative side, you are anti-fucking black. Plain and simple. That's how I see it. Because again, our brother G says, well, if you're a Democrat or a liberal, then this is something. Yeah, because I don't want Trump continue to try to take our rights. But to them, it's okay. Trump could, try to take your rights. The Republican Party could try to take black people's rights and demonize them and block us for selling our goods at Target. That's fine to them. You know what I'm saying? So Cory Booker talking about it like, oh, to them, that's a win. Me, I don't care. Anyway, I'll let them talk.
They will use to propel their quote unquote fight as they get ready for the next set of elections here. I think the Democratic Party as a whole has just had nothing but egg on its face. I feel like over the last year, basically, since Biden announced he was running, it's just been a bunch of egg on the face for Democrats.
I partially agree with that. So when people were telling him, well, Biden needs to drop out, no, I can still do it. And then he had the debate with Trump on the merits and what Biden was saying and what he was doing. Biden won the debate. But that mental gaffe that he had, that what cost him the debate. So if you're just looking at optics and showmanship, then yes, Trump won. But if we're talking about policy, people telling the truth, Trump lost that debate. He was horrible with the debate. Trump, do you have a plan for healthcare? I have a concept of a plan. They're eating cats and dogs. Like, give me a fucking break. Like Trump is your champion. Like I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So he's partially right. And then when we lost and Trump won the popular vote, it's like, God damn. So yeah, everyone is mad at the Democrats because you lost to fucking Trump. You lost to Trump. I mean, there's a lot of factors why that happened. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah.
And I think what this does is it because they tried to get Booker kind of like toward the front of the party years ago, but like you said, it just didn't work. So I wouldn't say that like that this is like something that like they've been trying to pump him or pause or push him in that party for a while. And I think he just took advantage of an opportunity to do something that is very much like a gesture. But for his base in the Democratic audience, I think they see it as like finally somebody's doing quote unquote something to go against what Trump is doing. And maybe they use that as momentum moving forward. But largely I agree with what you're saying. I don't personally see the value.
Again, they don't see the value in a black man breaking a filibuster to a racist that was talking against segregation, and a black man talking about this country is moving right back to what Strom Thurmond wanted, and racist people like Trump regime rolling all the things back, right? All the benefits and privileges have. We can't even serve in the military. You know what I'm saying? They're taking all black people down off websites in the military. They're taking all our contributions in American society away. The Black History Museum in Washington D.C., he wants to ban that, disband that. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
And I guess what I'll add, as I throw to Johnny, these are the two opposing perspectives that I've heard. One, that he was literally just talking. So he didn't do this with a proposed term. He wasn't stopping legislation. There wasn't like really a purpose behind it outside of its symbolism. It's performative nature. The other side that I did.
So that's the side that they had, and that's what Q was saying, and that's pretty much, I feel, that's their side, right? So again, I'll say it again, they don't have any power. The Democrats don't have any power in any branch right now. All they could do is yell and scream and make noise about what's going on. Even during the debate, on my brother talking right here, Q, he was like saying, hey, maybe if Kamala did more interviews and do this like that and be more popular, she didn't go on Joe Rogan. Well, she was going to go on Joe Rogan, but the times didn't align. She need to do this, need to do that, get her voice out there. Okay, now that they do that, they should stay quiet. So then y'all can say, see, they ain't saying nothing, they ain't doing nothing. Now that they're saying nothing and make noise, oh my gosh, there you guys go again talking. It's like you can't win with these people.
I did here was right now, because of the Democrats and where they're at, they're completely powerless. And only thing that they can do would be performative. In this,
and that's the whole. So our brother Q, he's absolutely right. What he just said was straight up facts.
Was supposed to kind of stoke good faith for the public in the fact that they've been getting hit with the whole, y'all just gonna let them do it, y'all quiet, XYZ. Johnny.
No, you hit.
Q's absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
What I was gonna say, as far as like, it wasn't a filibuster. Like, it was just a speech. Like he wasn't trying to block anything. It wasn't no, like last time it did, the guy was trying to hold up a bill. Versus there's no bill, there's nothing.
Yeah, the last guy that did it was Strom Thurmond, was a racist, right? And he had power. They had power. He had power behind him to block a bill. When you have no power and the numbers are against you, yes, it's just talking. So again, how is that not bring significance to what he's doing if he's talking for the benefit of the country, especially black people? Maybe these dudes ain't pro-black. Maybe they're just individuals. You're just Johnny, you're just G, and you're just A black. Maybe they're not. Oh, okay, we're black, but we don't look at politics as literally in black and white. We're just individuals. That's the only way that this can make sense to me.
And that you can do in this case, you just.
And shout out to our sister on Sharon Young. It said if it was a white man, then it would be okay. But since it's a black man, then what he said means nothing. That's our problem. We can't support our own. She's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. When white supremacists talk and they say all that crazy stuff, you may have a few white people that come out, but for the most part, white people ain't saying nothing and they ain't talking against them. You know what I'm saying? You have a few that would talk against it. When Trump says all the things that he says, you have MAGA, which is a cult, from the poorest man in that's living out in the woods to the richest man like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. They all get in line and defend them. When it's us, we on the bandwagon of hate. Right? It's just sad. Post-traumatic slave syndrome, boy. Post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Just speaking to break the record, and it like it gives you a moment.
I mean, they put what I said there too. It said I find it interesting that all the panel did when talking about Trump is how many wives and children he has, as he destroyed the country at historical heights. But we don't have the energy. They'll put what the ending of what I said. That's all they're saying. It's politically blocking bullets for Trump. Politically blocking bullets for Trump. Either like they live under a rock and then they come up every week. They try to see what's going on real quick and they don't have an idea what's going on real quick and they just say whatever and they go back under their rock because you cannot be in tune to what's going on with politics right now and say what you say. You simply can't. I mean, you can, but it just shows that you're extremely uninformed.
It sounds good, it feels good, but as far as like, it's not something we can like hang your head on. It ain't something that's really gonna move the needle. It's not, it's not actionable. And so it doesn't move the needle. And so that's why I don't think it's too much of anything, because 2 weeks from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, we're not going to remember it. It's not going to,
No, you're not going to remember. You're not going to remember. Don't say we not. I'm going to remember this. Most people that are politically literate and inclined and knowledgeable and want to see this go somewhere, this is a pivotal moment that they could build on, as far as the Democrats could build on, right? And use towards the midterms election. Like, hey, remember what Cory Booker did? Remember all the things that we have? I'm going to show you also after this is over. I'm not going to play the whole thing. After this is over, the impact of what's going on. Mind you, this happened this past Wednesday, right? But I'm going to show you what I feel, what momentum came off of that.
It'll be in the news cycle no more. So it ain't, it can't be something. We're not going to remember
it. Trey.
It's time for the incel. It's time for the incel red pill FBA dude. He's gonna say something idiotic, but let's see.
Man, I would have been cool with him making the stand, but like, can we get it for something that is a tangible for foundational Black Americans? Can he not?
Did I just put, thanks to our brother Bakari, put that he was fighting for Black farmers? He was fighting for Black farmers. Maybe you get ahead. Maybe you guys weren't so third party or couch related, politically speaking, you would know that. But hey, to each his own, right?
Do a filibuster for anti-Black hate crime bill, or for reparations, or something about the white supremacists and law enforcement, or something that's actually important. There's so many things he could do to galvanize the base, but instead he goes out to, like John said, not even.
Yeah, but you guys go to Trump. You guys go to Jill Stein, right? She wasn't talking that shit, right? She wasn't talking about defending Black people or anything like that. None of them was talking about that. So, like, I don't understand how you in the political sphere, but you're not in the political sphere, and you could commenting on it, but your vote or lack thereof is the total opposite of what you want to see happen.
Not even like proposing legislation or anything like that. It's just more performing the symbolism. And it's interesting that the Democrats, they keep pushing out their Black shills to do
a Black shill. What is Cory Booker shielding us from? It's a shield, Black shield. So what? I'm not going to dignify that with an answer.
Their dirty work, especially when it comes to just like foolishness. Like a couple weeks ago, they had Al Green like waving his cane in the State House, yelling, getting kicked out. And then they got Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, Al Green. When Trump was doing that, he was saying he had a mandate. Al Green stood up and says, "You don't have a mandate to cut Social Security. You don't have a mandate." Right? And I love when he did it, because every time when Biden had the president, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of the Republicans interrupt Biden over and over and over again, screaming. He even didn't kick them out. He let them talk. But Republicans are such snowflakes that Mike Johnson is like, sit down, and I'm going to call the sergeant at arms. You're obstructing, and they escort his behind out with his cane. But they got no energy for that. I'm pretty sure when that was happening, they were laughing they coon ass off. Ha 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 ha! Look at that, they over talking about Joe Biden. Ha 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 ha! I'm pretty sure they got no problem with that, right? And the thing I hate about the Democrats is that they did not back Al Green. And that's the weakness about Democrats that I hate. That's what they should be fucking talking about. Like, why didn't they back Al Green up? Why didn't they back Al Green up? And say, if you know what I'm saying? To me, that pissed me off. Because when I saw that, I was waiting for everyone to stand up. Be on some like, you don't have a mandate. Oh, you're going to kick him out? You better not kick him out. They weren't backing him up. Once again, a Black man is standing up and has the heart to say something while everybody else is just sitting their ass down like fucking cowards. And I think oh man, let me not say. I think some of the Democrats forgot what it was. They were like voting against what he did or something like that. But you know what? I don't know, so I'm not even gonna say it. But that's the weakness of Democrats that I hate. But Mr. FBA incel red pill here, dude, he doesn't understand that. It's just his opportunity to dump on black people.
Crockett leading like weird TikTok dances, like waving the bundles around, talking all sassy. And now we got.
So again, he's attacking Jasmine Crockett because again, he's an incel. He hates black women. He likes white women. He wants to date white women. So this is these incel dudes. You know what I'm saying? These incel dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like like red pill, you know, the red pill dude or whatever, where they can't get no women. They have problems dating, so they think, oh, can't be me. You know what? It's black women, and something's wrong with black women, and attacking black women. Right? That's their whole stance. That's their whole steez. Just like Tariq Nasheed. You know what I'm saying? Got nothing good to say about black women. He didn't marry a black woman. He wanted a black woman with some whiteness in her, and her being raised as a white woman. You know what I'm saying? But then still calling her quote unquote black. Right, so this is me telling the all of the unconstitutional, racist, anti-black American jeopardizing American security. Right, so we all know about the whole signal thing that Pete Hegseth did. Right, JD Vance was on that, just exposing all of our national secrets with the hit that they were going to do. Right, they ain't talking about that. That's fine. They want to talk about Al Green. Right, standing up saying Trump don't have a mandate. You want to attack Jasmine Crockett, is one of the most progressive, taking it to Republicans. But probably that's why they don't like her, because she make Republicans look stupid. She make Marjorie Taylor Greene look bad. She make Lauren Boebert look bad. She make a lot of people on the right look bad. So maybe that's why they don't like Jasmine Crockett, because a woman that's especially a black woman, you know, they don't like Kamala Harris. They don't like no black woman talking up. They want a subservient black woman, because I shouldn't say them. FBA incel Trey, you know, they're too weak. They can't handle that. So an intelligent black woman is she's sassy, and you can't take her. It's okay. But yeah, I wanted to show that, but I'll let him finish.
Cory Booker, you know, mad zesty out there crying. So it's like that's what they see black people as. Like sassy black woman, zesty black man, or the elderly civil rights generation.
Is he zesty? I never like I
just know he cries a lot, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that why they said? Because did he cry? Did he cry when he was up there for real?
He was about to. He go cry.
I mean,
Yeah.
25 hours, you gotta pull everything out in 25 hours. You gotta make them mad, you gotta make them cry. Like, it's 25 hours, bro. That's that is a long time to,
like, he ain't pissed or nothing, man, no bathroom breaks or nothing.
But it's still a long time to talk.
But they ain't no excuse. They ain't no excuse to be zesty. Like, if you want to be passionate, like, you know how some people can get some people are passionate, their voice get deeper. And some people, when they're passionate, their voice get higher. When he was getting passionate,
so this again, they got all the talking points, all of the criticism for black people, talking against white supremacy and racism. They got no smoke for the white people that's trying to implement and say racist thing towards black people and white supremacy, but they're supposed to be pro-black. I'm just letting this play out. You know what I'm saying? After he's done, we'll move on. But I'm just showing you the criticism that they have and how they're just politically blocking bullets for the Republican Party that doesn't give two shits about them.
Like, up there in range, man, it's kind of soft and feminine.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
So,
we talk about Allen Iverson. One thing about him, he gonna cry. Allen Iverson a crier too, boy.
Yeah, I don't think. Hey, look,
but he also a warrior when it's time to play, man.
I seen killer shed tears, bro. I ain't gonna knock a nigga for shedding tears.
It's not crying, bro. I think if you don't have any bass in your voice and you got like a whiny tone, but that's not masculine, bro.
That don't mean it's gay.
Whatever. All
right, fellas. Let's move on to the.
It's just masculine.
Let's move on to the right. All right, so again, Trump has made headlines multiple times this week.
So I was gonna just end it right there. You know what I'm saying? So again, he's gonna talk about the right, but again, they're not gonna be critical of the right. The same energy they give towards the left, they don't give towards the right. You know, it's pretty much kid gloves when they talk about the right. You know, they think Elon Musk is a genius, even though he did the most monumental fuck ups. Even my boy, Dre, that came on here, he said, "I like, yo, what makes freaking Elon Musk a goddamn genius? I don't understand why y'all keep saying that." And my boy was like, "Oh, because his IQ." Da, 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 da. I'm like, all right. Did he make Tesla? No. He bought it, right? Yeah. Okay. So I don't understand how that's genius. If you want to say he's a good investor, he sees things that has potential economic growth, say that. But he didn't make the motherfucker. Like, did he put together SpaceX? No. Where's the genius at? I don't see how is he a goddamn genius? Y'all keep saying this shit. Like, y'all just believe anything people say, like face value, and you don't like, okay, let me look into this and see why people are saying what they're saying. And when you ask him, it's like, nah, he ain't. If he's so smart, he fired people that was in charge of our nuclear stockpile. Fired them all. Come to find out that no, these people are specialists and they do that. No one else could do what they do. You know that, right? Oh, then he hired him back. Where's the genius in that? Please tell me, what's the genius in that? What's the genius in taking, man? I could just go on all day. I know I'm sidetracked. I just don't understand how people think like that. Trump is Elon Musk is a genius. Trump is a gazillionaire, but he can't pay freaking bills and he just grifts off of, and he does NFTs. He does Trump coin, Trump sneaker. Like, Jeff Bezos don't do shit like that. Bill Gates don't do shit like that. Only freaking hustlers do shit like that. like I don't understand. But I know I'm going on. So we have a foundational buck broken American. Thank you for watching, right? Thank you for coming through, June Zone. Our brother Bakari, thanks for coming through. Thank you for blessing me with that information about Cory Booker, about him, putting an act for black farmers, not farmers, black farmers, right? What's up to our brother Ditso? Thank you for coming through. Our matron, thank you for coming through. And someone provide triggers for evolution. Thank you again for coming through. Right. So let me continue. So I have another naysayer. I was gonna play their joint, but I'm not gonna play it. One thing about me, I'm trying to have conversations in good faith, right? And you know what? Before I do that, let me not do that yet. I'm going to show you what's been going on in like Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, I think it was Saturday. But is this the one? No, not yet. Okay. Is this one? Let me show you. Hold on. Let me get the timestamp here of what they are defending. What these guys got no smoke for. When they talk about Jasmine Crockett, they joined the band of Fox News and people that do this.
Racist. So they call on this guy who has this to say about Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine, full racist. So they call, going back to Laura Ingraham's show, they got to go full racist. So they call on this guy who has this to say about Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I mean, just so obvious what they're doing here. Play this clip.
Makes you kind of wish he could fire members of Congress, doesn't it, Laura? I mean, look, she has become the Medea of Capitol Hill with half the charm. She doesn't make it.
They call her Medea The Medea, yo, the Medea of Capitol Hill. They call her Medea. Wow. When I saw this, I was like, what? Yo, that is crazy. That is crazy. The Medea of Capitol Hill.
Members of Congress, doesn't it, Laura? I mean, look, she has become the Medea of Capitol Hill with half the charm. She doesn't make an argument. Saying you don't like a guy because he's firing people, that's a complaint. It's not an argument. And you're a member of Congress, not a desperate housewife. Clean up the act and stop threatening people. That's the shorthand here.
Well, and again, I go back to interview with her a number of years ago where she sounds.
Remember, this is Mrs. Shut Up and Dribble. Right? When LeBron says something, shut up and dribble. In other words, nigga hush. Right? This is who this is. Laura Ingraham. I saw something with her brother. Her brother is exposing her and said her father was a Nazi sympathizer. He had Nazi memorabilia. Her father was like a drunk and everything, very angry person or whatever. And then she's kind of like internalizing that and instead of running away from that and them having such an abusive childhood, she's being more like her father and just making money off of it, right? So yeah, look that up. So yeah, so I'm just telling you that so you could brace for impact.
Of years ago, where she sounds very different, and now she's going very street. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do. It all seems like just a TikTok challenge or something. It's just very.
Isn't that what Incel FBA Trey said? Because she did a TikTok challenge, right? And she was dancing and stuff like that. That is what they're going to remember, despite all of the times that she has been on the floor representing her constituents, taking it, handing. She be going in on the Republican Party, right? On Comer and all these other people trying to try to do these bullshit bills and pretty much expose MAGA for who they are, right? But no. Forget about all that. She does TikTok. And she's the Medea of Capitol Hill. And, she wants to be more street, urban. We all know urban means code for black. She didn't say urban, but she said street. Street means urban. Urban means black. Do your history. Do some research if you don't understand that, right? But they got no problem with that. I'm telling you, those dudes on some of those dudes on the To Be a Fair show, they sound like a Fox contributor. They sound like they work for Fox News. Didn't they? He just said that. She acting sassy. She's pretty much Negro. Be quiet. Shh. Don't say nothing. Speak when the white man speaks to you. Don't get out of line. Stay in your place. That's what they want. They want docile, stupid people, black people like your Byron Donald and your Mark Robinsons. That's what they want. That's what they're comfortable with, right? So, it's
very odd. But during her rant,
I know, utterly.
Yeah. So I wanted to play that for you guys, right? Just to let you know, like these people can't be serious. They just simply can't be serious, right? Let me play this other thing. What's going on this weekend was I felt that gave momentum to what Cory Booker filibuster speech what he was doing. But hold on right here. Is that it? Nope, not this one. I'll show that later. Yeah, let me show you this right here.
That are happening.
So basically, hold on a second. Let me get the timestamp.
Post things like this and say things like this at all of his speeches. He wrote, "Voters have a choice: Trump prosperity or the Kamala crash and Great Depression of 2024, not to mention the probability of World War III if these very stupid people remain in office. Remember, Trump was right about everything. He was wrong about everything." And you take a look right.
That's what Trump is writing on his True Social. saying after the economy pretty much is tanking, a recession is happening. Remember before he was elected, they looked at his plan, they looked at Kamala Harris's plan, and they said that Trump's plan would be disastrous and will put I forgot the number, but I think it was going to put somewhere around like 3 to 4 trillion more in debt than Kamala Harris' plan that was going to really put us in debt. But even if she would have, some of the things that she was proposing, if my argument is, if it was to put us add a little bit more to the debt, at least the lifestyle cost of living would have been better, right? At least we could see, okay, they add a little bit more to the deficit, but at least, pharmaceutical drugs is cheaper. You know what? At least the cost of living is cheaper. You know what? At least people could easily get a home, get homes now. It's better. It's cheaper. At least you would have some benefit to it. With Trump, there is no benefit. It's negative. And he's like, what? His approval rate is like in the 40s right now.
Right here at the markets since Donald Trump took office. You take a look at the Dow, down nearly 7%, the S&P down over 10%, the NASDAQ down over 15%, the Russell 2000 down over 16%. Donald Trump has quite literally ushered in already, although it's not formally labeled as such, a Great Recession, perhaps a Great Depression that is akin to the 1929 style Great Depression. Donald Trump also following the playbook there with the Smoot-Hawley tariffs that we know were problematic causes of a Great Depression or accelerants as well. So let me just share with you former Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz and other.
How I'm upping my lawn game this year.
My bad, can't control the commercials. I didn't see that coming. I'm just going to play the
toxic fertilizer home. That's why I switched to Sunday. They know exactly what your lawn needs based on your address. Then they send you exactly what your lawn needs right when you need it. They deliver customized lawn nutrients straight to my door. Sunday uses ingredients like...
My bad. I don't know what the hell happened. Oh, wow. What the hell? Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me right now? Hold on.
Important to see Democrats get a fighting spirit. There are many things that we knew would happen that are happening. Play this clip.
There is a sense of fear that has been taking hold in our country. And I understand it. But we're saying people stay quiet. We are seeing organizations stay quiet. We are seeing those who are capitulating to clearly unconstitutional threats. And these are the things that we are witnessing each day in these last few months in our country. And it understandably creates a great sense of fear. Because, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here to say I told you so.
Nah, she got the right to say I told you so. Everything she said Trump was going to do, Trump is doing. Then you have other people saying, oh, you're fear-mongering. Like, no, how is that fear-mongering? If someone says they're going to do something, and I say, hey, that person said they're going to come around the corner and slap fire out of you. Oh, you're fear-mongering. How is that fear-mongering? Me fear-mongering is saying, hey, potentially this could happen with really no probable cause or nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, where's that coming from? You're just pulling that out from out of thin air. No, the man said this is what he's going to do. That's not fear-mongering. So she has a right to gloat, right? She has a right to gloat. And of course, it's kind of like, okay, you got the right to gloat. And, but people are suffering in the meantime. But Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, she has the right. She has the right to gloat because she was saying that he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. You're gonna lose this. The economy is gonna tank. This is that. He's gonna take away rights from women. He's gonna take. He's doing everything that she said that she wanted he was gonna do.
I just think to myself how things would be so different if she was the president of the.
Yeah, like things would definitely be different, and I want to know what would be. I would like people to tell me what would be worse, because I don't understand what could be worse than what's going on right now. What Kamala would have done or not do to make things worse.
2016 is that we are in the midst of seeing progress being rolled back, policies that we birthed being rolled back, the terms that we use for what is progress in America being turned into a pejorative, intended to deny the facts and to deny smart policy, by the way, effective policy, by the way, that has been proven to yield a great return on that investment.
So going from former Vice President Kamala Harris to her running mate, Governor Walz, let's take a look at what Governor Walz of Minnesota has to say. He talks about how
So Governor Walz. So this is the thing. Governor Walz, he's famous for because they didn't have free breakfast programs in his state. He did free breakfast programs. Trump wants to defund the Department of Education. Forgot where, somewhere in Appalachia, somewhere, a hard blood red state, right? For those who don't understand how the Board of Education works, the Board of Education pretty much works and came about basically because each state didn't have enough funding to support education, rightfully, because education wasn't equal, Brown versus the Board of Education, right? Especially through state taxes. So the most people that pay taxes in this country will be New York and California. We subsidize other states, right? They'll take my tax revenue being here in New York, and it will subsidize other states because they don't have enough taxes. They don't have, they probably don't have businesses, so they can't, there's really no business taxes at a minimum or not at all. And we subsidize the Department of Education. So the people that voted for Trump and said, well, Trump says he's going to defund the Department of Education. There's little white children. Maybe you Negroes will be concerned when when white people are suffering, because you don't care when black people or Africans or Caribbean suffer. So your kin, next to your kin, little white children in Appalachia, saying Mary Sue and Jimmy, she's saying their after school programs and their lunch programs they have, totally the budget that they get from the federal government through the Department of Education funds all of that. And they say if they were to get defunded, they cannot have those after school programs and those lunch programs. There was a teacher and the principal. I didn't put it here, but I think I showed that to you guys before, right? But you can look this up. The teacher and the principal voted for Trump. They saying that some kids, there's such food insecurity. There's such food insecurity there that these kids rely on the breakfast programs, the lunch programs in their schools. That's the only time they eat. My wife is a teacher, right? And even here in New York, my wife told me there was this kid always comes upset. He's always cranky. Every Monday, every Friday, he's always cranky. Every Monday, he's always cranky and all that. Always have an attitude, but sometime during the week, kind of tapers off, and he's fine. Anyway, long story short, come to find out that he doesn't eat for the whole weekend. He only eats when he's in school. So he has to go from Friday night to Monday morning no food, no food. And that like broke my heart. Oh, I'm gonna cry now. So I guess I'm not a man. I feel emotional because I guess I'm not a man. Anyway, I'm like, what? I was like, oh my God, like, is he okay? There's something that we could do or whatever. You know, she's like, no, they're taking care of it, they're looking into it or whatever and stuff like that. But I'm saying that to say that there's a lot of things that this administration is doing that is hurting real people. That is hurting real people. It's even hurting white people. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you guys should be concerned about that. So I just wanted to just share that with you when it comes to things like this. You know, so I'm gonna address something right now. Hold on. So first, before I do that, let me take care of something real quick, and I will be back. So it's gonna do something with FBA. So we got like an FBA coon in here. So if you all want to be mad at him. I'm gonna play his Tariq Nasheed's rap song. You know what I'm saying? Since this is his king, so I'm gonna give him something to bop his head to.
Wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, wash it, wash it. I say you wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, wash your ass. Just grab a douche, open up your puss, and wash it, wash it. I say now dag, baby, did you pass gas? I think you better go get yourself boss.
Sorry about that. Had to do something. So anyway, we come to this point right now. We have so we have American asshole. I'm sorry, American soul. It said, but you ran from Trini Tether. I don't know what that is. He think I is a Trini. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. So while we're on that, talking about fake pro-black people, let me show you. So they had this other channel that I was on. And there was also criticizing Cory Booker. Right? So they were talking about, I'm not even gonna play them. They were talking. They deleted my comment. One thing I don't like. I'm having a good faith argument. I'm trying to understand your logic and your position, and you delete my comments because I'm asking you a basic fundamental question. You're weak. You're not built for this, and that's what they did. So unsubscribe from them or whatever. They got some white dude there. I don't know, if he's half black or whatever, but they made some good. They made some good points before. I'm not going to front, but if I can't engage with you and things like that, is like, nah, I'm just done with you. So basically, they were talking about Cory Booker and a guy named Glenn Ford. Glenn Ford is a journalist. He was also a Black Panther, so he was very critical of Cory Bush. Fine. I can't even say I'm a fan of Cory Bush, right? But their whole thing is that pretty much saying the same thing, the filibuster, it meant nothing. And talking about this guy, Gerald Ford, that was very critical of him. Well, he took AIPAC money. He took I'm like, all right, so pretty much this what I wrote eventually said, so you deleted my comments now, how cowardly. They're definitely not built for this work. If me asking a fundamental question to an accusation that you proposed gets you so upset, it's okay. I'm going to have fun with you wannabe pro-black justice warriors, right? So in the beginning, I wrote right here, I said, the first 6 minutes had nothing to do with why Cory Bush's historical filibuster is bad, right? He's going to write back. He says, the first 6 minutes goes over how Cory Bush comes from a black misleadership class funded by the same oligarchs he critiques, funded by the Heritage Foundation and AIPAC. So yes, I just choose to be tone deaf. Again, we're talking about his filibuster speech that outdid Strom Thurmond. I'm not asking how he came to prominence in his position. Two things can be right at the same time, right? What they're saying, I do believe from the little research that I did, is true. But I'm not talking about that. It's like the whole Kanye West thing, right? You can't. It's like me saying Kanye West now saying he loves Hitler and he's this that, and you come back with, oh, what he makes good music and you bought his music and it's on your playlist. Like, asshole, that's not the point. That's not the point. So again, I wrote, and it was on Cory Booker, I'm Cory Bush, right? I put again, you're trying to spin something that he did historically into something nefarious. This is something a Byron Donalds or a Tim Scott would do, right? That's all that's said. And he just deleted my comment, right? So these are bitch made dudes, pretty much. These are bitch made dudes, right? Because like I'm really asking a question and it doesn't attack or say anything about, okay, what he did historically was, this is why it is wrong. Like to be fair, show guys, they were wrong, but at least it was a little bit more honest. Okay, what does this really do? And it's not going to do anything. At least they're talking something about it, like why it's not doing it. They're not just saying, oh, a guy did a speech 3 years ago about Cory Bush and how he was funded, so that means what he's doing right now doesn't mean anything. Those two things don't correlate at all. Those two things don't correlate at all. So what I'm going to do right now, since American asshole is so opinionated, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the link in the chat just for him or it or her or whatever, so he could explain himself. Right? If not, just shut the fuck up. Right? If you got all that mouth, have all this mouth, come on here and we can have an actual conversation. Right? We can have an actual conversation. If you're from that channel or whatever, or you're a fan of that channel, maybe you could be the horse whisperer to what do they mean, because I don't understand what they meant by all that. I don't, right? I don't know what they mean. And so now he's saying, show slave ships you came on. Okay, so he doesn't want to talk. He's not a serious person, right? So he's not. So again, no wonder he's from that channel, because he's a coward. They stay in the back. They don't come. They don't want to converse. They're just weak people. So I'm not even entertaining him. If he keeps talking trash, I don't like a person like to ban people, but I will consider banning you because you're talking a lot of trash. You're talking a lot of trash and you're not coming up. If you're a representative of that channel, unlike you, I welcome. This is not an echo chamber like your channel. I'm not so sensitive and weak where I have to delete people's comments. I don't do that. I don't do that here. Right? So show that you got some heart and come up here to have a conversation. You can ask anybody in the chat. I don't kick people out. I don't do that. If I disagree, I disagree. And that's it. And we go our separate ways. But I don't kick people out. But if you're going to just be in the comment section and just talk, you're not coming on anything, you a fucking bitch ass. Right? And don't say shit. Because if you keep talking shit, then I have no problem kicking you out. You be the first person, since I've been on YouTube for like over a year, you'll be the first person I kick out, and I won't feel no way about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have all that mouth there and don't come on here. What's up, Naps? He says American Soul is an engine. Yeah. Pretty much the way it's time. These dudes is fucking cowards. When they go out in the real world, they probably be kissing so-called tethers asses, for all you know. They'd probably be kissing white people ass too, because they're a bunch of fucking cowards. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for that, Naps. Thanks for that. You know what I'm saying? So now he broke. He says, buy me a mic. So now he broke. Okay. So you were broke ass. All right. Okay. I got it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, anyway, so you broke, but your keyboard seems to work. So anyway, so that's the segment. I kind of wanted to show you, but I'll just tell you guys. You guys could find out for yourselves There's this Saturday. There's been a lot of protests. There was protests in New York. There was protests in LA. There was protests in Chicago. There was protests, I think, in California, all against what Trump is doing with the tariffs and everything. So it's and Cory Booker was there. A lot of people were there. So I think his speech gave people a lot of momentum. So that kind of opened the doors for people. I mean, I talk about hundreds of thousands of people. So yeah, I think what Cory Booker did was good. So since we have American Asshole, pretty much is going to open up the next segment to what we do to what we're going to do. We're going to talk about FBA and their close relationship with white people. You know, their love and hate relationship with white people. And if you see on the thumbnail, you see a white lady there, and she, according to FBA, she is FBA. As white as snow as she is FBA. And we have to understand that FBA, the king of FBA, has no problem with white people. Because remember, Tariq Nasheed is a divester. We all know that he's a divester. When he was doing his Pimp Chronicles or whatever, the Art of Mackin, this is all things that he was telling black people, right? For the black men, he says, as far an upscale black man with an upscale white woman, that's the kind of female you want to get with. Become the female, because the female is basically going to take on the characteristics and ideology and culture of her mother. So he don't want a black woman. He want a blackish woman that has white ideologies. I think they said her mother is Jewish. So she says, so this is who Tariq Nasheed is, right? Tariq Nasheed is not a pro black person. He's not, right? I also showed you guys before that Tariq was in Brazil hunting snow bunnies, and he even got one to the hotel. You know what I'm saying? That he did. This is who Tariq Nasheed is. So he's okay with white people.
Chilla, here's another one. Another died. Fine for no goddamn reason. Just chilling.
This man, just a few years ago, on the beach, stalking European women. Stalking European women, but got a nerve to say something like that. You can never find no video with me like this. Never.
I'm telling you fellas, that's a black man's Mecca.
He said, this is a black man's Mecca. Stalking.
Yeah, so this is who Tariq Nasheed is. So, you know, so FBA, you know, he kind of ignite that white gene in there, because black Americans have a lot of European ancestry. So he kind of conjured up the white man and the white woman inside FBA. You know what I'm saying? So they have this love for them, even though they're supposed to hate them. So they got this love-hate relationship for white people, right? So that's okay. That's cool. So right now, here it is. I found this to be very interesting. So they attacked this woman, right? I've been subscribed to her for a while. She has a very unique take and ideology on what blackness and what color is, because she found out that she has black lineage. She found out she has black ancestry, right? So her channel is very interesting, right? Because she goes into her genealogy and everything, and she goes into a lot of history of how race is extremely subjective, right? You know, it's extremely subjective. It depends on who's saying who is what, the political climate, there's reason, the purposes. It's a plethora of reasons of why. So just to see who her channel is. So right says FBA says, I can't claim my own ancestors, right? So that's the name of that one. But this is her channel on NYTN. She's a native New Yorker, like me. So I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna comment through it and enjoy.
Comments like, "You're not black, stay out of FBA business." You know, comments like, "You're not black, stay out of FBA business." hold up. I'm not saying I'm black. If you've been raised as a white woman for generations, should you speak on Black history as a Black woman? I am not claiming the experiences of my ancestors. I am claiming my ancestors. Don't know if I like a white woman talking about my folks. And I explained, oh, this is my family. And they said, ain't no white folks in my family, and I know my folks. And that's when it hit me. This isn't just about history. It's about identity, ownership, and the rules we don't talk about until someone breaks them.
And the thing about that, what she's saying is absolutely right. And the thing about them is that people, I'm not going to say FBA, I'm going to say Black Americans, right? Black Americans have no problem with dating white people, white men. I'm saying, not saying all of us, right? But it is a thing. So I don't understand, saying you have basketball players, football players, you got them dating white women, right? So you think it's not possible for a person that looks white, like Michael Jackson's kids, and people that look like Mariah Carey, to have a Black mother or father? You got Tariq Nasheed, y'all king, y'all God king. His wife is not 100% Black. She's a mulatto. You know what I'm saying? So if she claims, if her kids claim, hey, I got so if Tariq Nasheed's kids that look white-ish and mulatto-ish marry a white woman, right, and they have white kids, right, they could say, hey, I got Black in my family. His wife could say, hey, I'm half Black. You know what I'm saying? Let's say his wife came out looking like Mariah Carey, like Mariah Carey did. Mariah Carey says, hey, I'm Black too. So I could claim reparations. Oh, I don't want no white woman. I'm not white. And even if she was, Mariah Carey is her father is Black. But if she were to have kids, right? She has kids, and if one of her kids marries somebody white, they're gonna look whiter than her, like this lady over here. And you're gonna have someone say, I don't like on white people talking about my folks. These are your folks. So it's very confusing. Let me play it.
Breaks them. Hi, I'm Danielle Romero, and thank you so much for being with me here on my channel, where we talk about American identity and family stories. When I first started sharing my family history publicly, I didn't even know what FBA meant. Maybe you don't know what it means. Maybe you
Most people don't know what it means, but if you're online, yeah, you're going to hear it.
do. FBA stands for Foundational Black American. And then there's another acronym, I think it's ADOS. It's American Descendants of Slavery. When I was researching my family, I was not trying to step into a debate. I actually didn't even
So she went on the FBA website.
know there was a debate about this. I started when I was about 16 years old, and I'm 39 now. I was just trying to understand where I came from, understand this side of the family. So I found records of my ancestors who had been enslaved. I saw their names, the places they lived, the conditions they endured, the dates they were manumitted. And I traveled to find out where they lived, uncover the story. I shared that on this channel. And it felt like something that was too important to stay quiet about. The moment I started speaking about them, about my family, my direct ancestors, people had stuff to say. A lot of the comments were supportive. A lot were curious. How could someone that looks like me have this ancestry, which I think is a really important conversation. But there were ones that just stopped me in my tracks. And I want to read a couple of these. So a woman said, if you've been raised as a white woman for generations, I haven't been raised as a white woman for generations. Like, I'm old, but I'm not that old. Should you speak on Black history as a Black woman? It's a loaded question. There's a lot of assumptions. That one, if you identify with being connected to people, that you're also trying to take that identity as your own, which I'm not. I've never called myself a Black woman on here. I don't call myself a white woman. I don't call myself any color. If
she doesn't, you have to watch her channel, because anyone knows FBA, they're not the smartest people. We all know that. We all know that color is pretty much a social construct that Europeans made, right? Everyone goes according to their nationality and their place of origin. So before the transatlantic slave trade, everybody was an African or European or someone from Ghana or someone from France, or that's how it was. So she doesn't get caught up in the whole color thing. Because again, if you look at her channel, she had I forgot the name of one of the posts that she did. She had a video of a black person who was black. They had their father was white. He was a slave master, right? He was white, right? And the mother was black. But this quote unquote black person had all of the characteristics of a white person. They said they had like blonde hair, had like blue green eyes and all this stuff. And they say, but they could pass for white. And they've passed for white and they are white. So she's like, wait. So they could pass for white and have all the characteristics white. Why are you still calling them black? So it gets real confusing. And she had several examples of that. And it was very, very interesting. So I know I'm stopping it, but only saying it to let you know why she doesn't call herself black, white, or a color, because it's extremely problematic.
If you do, like, you do you, but I just don't subscribe to that. So then she goes on to say, quote, "Why don't you talk about the moment when your family decided to identify something else?" I literally do. That's like the beginning of this channel. It made me realize that this isn't just about history. This is about control. And I'm not
Exactly. It's about control. And she hits the nail right on the head. It's about, you got the FBA goons saying, oh, you're African, you're not black. You can't call yourself black. You can't call yourself black. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, because we're black. Like some black Americans got this ideology of privilege, just like white people got this privilege because that they are the first everything. They are the end all be all. They are the creators and the progenitors of everything, which is a very arrogant, ahistorical way of thinking of things, right? Because the concept of blackness goes beyond the white man calling you black and nigga and all this other stuff. Well, we all know Negro is the Spanish word for black and whatever. So the only reason why you're calling yourself black is because white people allowed you to call yourself black, because you were originally Africans and you called yourself other things and you couldn't call yourself those things, so you were allowed to call yourself black. So yeah, so let's get it straight, right? So let me let it play. Let me let it go. So
I'm not saying that all the FBA stuff is this way or all the ADOS stuff is this way. But if we're being honest, these conversations aren't just about ancestry. They're about power and who gets to be heard and who is allowed to be visible. So apparently by acknowledging my ancestors, who I literally would not be sitting here on this couch talking to you if they did not exist, I have crossed some invisible line. And if I'm being honest, I think that this part has to do with fear. Fear that I'm here to take something, that I'm claiming benefits, I'm claiming reparations, identity, whatever people assume that I might be after, just by telling.
But it would be owed to you in some way, form, or fashion. I think she's like 2 to 3 generations removed from quote unquote being black, because it's not her mother. I think it's on her mother's side. It's on her mother's side, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not her mother and it's not her grandmother. I think it's her grandmother's mother that's black, right? So she's like 3 generations off from being black, but she has black ancestry. So let's say her grandmother was to say, I want reparations or something like that. You know, my father was or mother was black. According to FBA rules, she could get it, right? So you got FBA goons that are mad and upset, where they revere white people. They have white culture, do everything white people do. They see things through the lens of white people, right? And they kind of have to, not make white people uncomfortable and cozy up to white people because they're asking them for reparations. So FBA will never go in on white people. But with this little pushback here, they kind of got to hate, because they're saying like, there's no way that you could be black looking as white as they are, which exposed their own ignorance.
Telling the truth about my family. And let me be clear, I am not here to collect anything. I'm here fundamentally, like truly, I am sitting here right now because this history happened, because those ancestors existed. And pretending they didn't just because it complicates somebody else's narrative doesn't sit right with me. So I have to ask, am I only allowed to claim the parts of my story that make other people feel comfortable? What about you? And then there was another comment thread that hit me a little harder than I expected. I posted a video, like I said earlier, about some of the free people of color, the Chavis family from North Carolina. This is my direct line. And someone replied, "Don't know if I like a white woman talking about my folks." And I responded simply, "They're my family too." And his reply, "Ain't no white folks in my family, and I know my folks." And
it's a very disingenuous statement. It's a very. We all know if you take a DNA test of most Black Americans, they could be black as Wesley Snipes, and some of them, they be black as Wesley Snipes or as light skinned as Beyonce, right? You're gonna have some white people in your family. So just because this particular FBA idiot doesn't know, oh, I know white people in my family. How far back do you really go? You don't know how far back you go. You know what I'm saying? You go all your folks from Africa, which they're not from Africa, which I don't understand. You ain't from Africa, but you want reparations for the harm that was done to Africans that came here. Yeah, we spoke about that. That's why FBA are fucking idiots. They hate Africans, knowing that they're Africans, and want reparations for the Africans that were enslaved that are their ancestors, but they're not African anyway. But this is the thing. They will say, well, we're not African, we became something else. And brace yourself, I'm going to say it. So you're saying you're a rape baby, and because you're a rape baby and you got some white in you, you're no longer African, you're more American, aka white. So you're claiming not your experience. I mean, they do claim the experience, but they claim that there's something different. The only thing different is slavery. There was slavery in the Caribbean. There was slavery in Mexico with African people. There was slavery in Mexico. There was slavery in the Caribbean. No one in the Caribbean, for the most part, saying like, oh, we became something else. There's some anti-African sentiment in the Caribbean. I'm not gonna lie, but not as pervasive as it is here in the States. But we can't say you became something else and you have a conversation with these FBA people is because I'm under the white man, so I'm no longer African, so I'm something better because I'm under the white man. That's their mentality.
I read that and I just sat with it for a minute because I'm not trying to take anything. I'm not trying to take anything that's not mine. I'm literally talking about my own family, my roots. But in that moment, it became really clear that this isn't just who we descend from. It's about how we're seen, how we're labeled, and whether or not that label gives us access to tell the truth about where we come from. I don't really have a dog in the fight with the whole FBA ADOS stuff. If people want to have that identifier, if that means something important to you and you have it, like that's wonderful. Like have that. I hope
it doesn't mean anything. FBA for those who don't know, I hope she looks at this video because I did comment in her on this video, basically telling her, don't worry about it. It's a scam. The person who's in charge of that coined this is a grifter. It's copyrighted. He has a white mother-in-law and he has a form of self-hatred. So he just have followers that have that same self-hatred. It's about reparations and it's messy, but FBA is nothing. It's not going to gain any momentum off of online, right? Because if you want the money from the government, right? The government doesn't want to be a part. Well, I can't say for this government, but normally the government is not going to endorse anybody who's a part of a hate organization or promotes any type of hatred towards people, no matter how so-called justified it may be. It's just not. Because the moment, and look, this FBA has been going on for over 5 years. They don't have one official representative representing them. That's how you know it's bullshit. Because if it was really about reparations, what it was supposed to be about reparations, they would have been said, okay, we need to get buy a politician, reach out to a politician to force a bill or an act or something that we could do in order to get reparations, because we don't like HR 40 and we don't let Ta-Nehisi Coates is just spinning his wheels. They're not doing anything. We need a new reparations bill. They're not doing that. They're just talking, hating on black people, hating on black people that are Africans, hating on black people that are from the Caribbean. That's all they do. It's just a hate fest. It's just a hate fest, and say that I'm better than you. Like our brother Anthony would say, they're plantation bragging. Oh, where I am, my master's better than your master because I'm in America. America is the best master to have. And I don't own shit. I don't do shit. I don't control shit. But the white man here got shit on lock. He got shit on smash. So I'm better than you. That's all that it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'll keep it going.
Wholly reject it if it's a label that gives people access to tell their family history or not. That I reject. If you've been on my channel at all, you know I understand that the history of race in America is full, rife with issues, with erasure, misinformation. And so when someone like me, who wasn't raised with a certain identity, starts talking about it, maybe people feel like I'm stepping into a space that's not mine to step into. But here's the thing. I am not claiming the experiences of my ancestors. I'm claiming the ancestors. That's a huge difference.
I find that to be type powerful. You know what I'm saying? You're not claiming the experience. Like, we as black people cannot claim the experience as well, claim the experience of our ancestors, because we didn't go through chattel slavery, right? But we claiming our ancestors and what they've been through, right? Black people, obviously, we experience abuse. I'm not saying we don't experience abuse through the hands of white supremacy, through white people, right? She can't say that. But I'm saying this to say is that she's learning who her ancestors are as we learn who our ancestors are, and we're seeing what they've been through. So knowing that's her ancestor, and knowing that without that ancestor, she wouldn't be here, she wouldn't be around, she has a level of respect and reverence for that ancestor. That's all that is, and I find that very powerful. Where at least when it comes to that, you can find some commonality, because she's not resenting the fact that, oh my gosh, I have black ancestry. She's not doing that. She's like, oh wow, this fact, if you didn't know, check her channel out. If you didn't know, this was hidden from her. She didn't know. This was all hidden from her. So, and she's big on finding out who she is, what she is, where she came from, and everything. Because she's her genetic makeup is more recent Irish and Italian, right? So, again, I'll let it rock.
Difference. I want to repeat that. I am not claiming the experiences of my ancestors. I am claiming my ancestors, as I hope my children and their children and their children will claim me, because we are all connected. And
this is what I've been saying. I was speaking to one of my brothers, right? And I was like, this about religion or just who I am. The reason why I am who I am, and the reason why I have a reverence for my ancestors. When you look at shows and read about, Shaka Zulu, Queen Nzinga, all the West Africans that fought colonialism, that fought white Western ideology. That is you. And I don't want my ancestors, to me, rejecting white supremacy, white Western ideologies from religion, especially religion, and how you view and see the world. That's me respecting my ancestors. That's me fighting against white supremacy. Yes, you had us in slavery, but I'm going to respect my ancestors. I have sovereignty. I have freedom as a black man, and I'm going to use every fiber of my being not to be the thing. I always say, this is my saying, a nigga is a broken African. I'm going to do my best not to be a nigga. So if my ancestors, besides Muslim, were Ifa and they worship the Orishas, I'm going to be that, because I see what they did to us when it comes to Christianity, how they do this in Christianity. right? I'm going to dress like an African, try to talk like an African. I'm going to think like an African. All those things they didn't want us to do. You know why? Because my children and their children, I don't want them to reject who I am. I don't want them one day saying, oh, the hell with Guyanese people and Jamaicans and F them and da 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 da, because I feel I'm a pa 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 pa. And you guys don't want your children not claiming you, your grandchildren or your great grandchildren not claiming you. That's why FBA is stupid. They're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing to their African ancestors. So who's to say they won't do it to them? And so I find that's why I know I keep stopping, but I find that to be very, very, very important to highlight. You know what I'm saying? Respect your ancestors, because you want one day you're going to be ancestors and you want your descendants to respect you.
And the fact that that even needs to be said, that's the real problem. That's the real problem. And this isn't just about me. This is a deeper problem that we don't always talk about. How identity gets policed by other people's assumptions. I've learned this the hard way. When someone tells me I'm not Black enough to talk about my enslaved ancestors, they're not just challenging my family story. They're deciding which histories are allowed to exist in public. And that's where it stands. If I don't meet some invisible criteria, do my ancestors disappear? Do the laws that classified them as property suddenly just not apply to them? Does their pain, their history just stop existing? That's not identity. That's a performance. And I don't want to perform. I won't. But I do want to understand. And I want to honor the people who came before me. And I want to do it publicly. Because this has been something, especially with my family story, that has been the opposite of public. And maybe your ancestors that changed their names when they immigrated. Maybe they hid parts of their identity for their safety, survival. Maybe you've only recently learned about a heritage that was kept from you. That history is yours to explore too. And here's the truth. You do not need permission to acknowledge your ancestors. You don't need approval to honor them or their stories. And
Again, I'll kind of end it here because she's making a lot of good points. I put the link in the chat. Yeah, I'll let it play a little bit more. I'll put the link in the chat. But she's all speaking to her experience of her Black side being hidden, right? And again, you want to talk about, oh, white people hate us. All white people hate us. Here's a white person, according to FBA, and obviously anyone that has eyes, there's a white person that found out that she has Black ancestry and lineage, because they said, remember, FBA is your lineage. If you're a lineage, you follow. Did you your lineage? Did you do your genealogy? You did that, man. You a native. Eat too much lead paint, these Negroes. Anyway, so she's doing that. She's like, oh wow, and she's acknowledging them, and she's taking pride in it, right? This white woman probably takes more pride in her African ancestors than FBA, to be honest.
no one, no matter how loud they are in the comment section, get to tell you otherwise. You don't need permission to know where you come from. And if someone's telling you otherwise, it's not about history. It's about keeping you quiet. And I think the real question is why. People say history repeats itself, but really, what if their problem is that we just keep erasing it? If we're going to talk about history, we need to make space for the full picture, even when it's complicated. And it is most certainly going to be complicated. I know this is a hot topic. I know it's a hot topic. And I welcome you in the comment section if you disagree with me, if you agree, if you have felt similarly to me. And if this video made you think, please share it. The more we talk about history, the harder it is to erase it. And sometimes the truth is a lot more complicated than a checkbox. And I think that's why it's worth telling. Thank you so much for being here with me. And
like, I like her channel because, she's honest. Again, she doesn't claim to be what we will call Black or African American. She doesn't even claim that. She tells us like, hey, I'm Irish Italian. She's married to a white dude. You know what I'm saying? Which, again, she wouldn't probably use that phrase, but she doesn't claim that, but she acknowledges that, right? And I don't understand FBA goons that don't want to be African, but they want reparations for their African ancestors. So if you're not and I kind of like that in a way, because if you're not African, then you talk yourself out of reparations. Shut the fuck about reparations. I already said that. If you're not claiming to be a descendant of an African that was put in chattel slavery, you just talk yourself out of reparations, because that's what they're recognized of. Because if you're saying that you're a Native American, then you have no business being here talking about reparations, because that's a separate claim. That's a separate claim. You shouldn't be among the multitude of black people, because the multitude of black people aren't Native Americans. The multitude of black people are from West Africa, right? And those are the people that were brought here, right? So when you ask American asshole, or all these wobbles, all these idiots that have self-hate, they want to be anything but black, right? This is what they sound like when you say, okay, you're Native American. Okay, how is that?
Trying to explain how they're full-blooded Native Americans and not Africans at all.
Roydale and Alberstein's grandmother and my grandmother, okay, they were sisters. So that make me and Roydale and Alberstein, okay, that's going to be first, second. Got the same grandmother. They my first cousins. Okay, their cheering would be my second. They're cheering to you all, my cheering. That would make you all, maybe third.
Yeah, that's how they sound. That's how they sound like. That's how they sound like. Because if they don't have any Native American customs. They don't have any Native American style of dress. They don't have any Native American language. These niggas is Native American for all year except for Thanksgiving, and they put it on Shirley Caesar talking about I got greens, potatoes, and all that, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm just a regular American, just like everybody else. You name it. And when Thanksgiving is over on Black Friday, it's feathers up. What's up? We need to get our land back. Red means black people will call red and ruddy too. Fucking idiots. Just idiots. And American asshole, you still there? Like, what's up? You cowardly. So I kind of like you being here because you kind of like my little punching bag. So I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you rock because you keep giving all of us content. And you're just a fucking clown. So continue, do you, right? But that's how you sound. Unless you're gonna actually come over here and hit the link, and you can tell us how you're Native American, because I would like to know, because I'm ignorant. You know what I'm saying? You call me a tether. Tether is something pretty much foundational and is grounded to this land. You should be calling yourself a tether. Because you're tethered to this land. So if you say I'm a tether and I'm tethered to this land, that means I'm more foundational than you. I'm more foundational than the Black American. I'm more foundational than a wobble. But they're all cowards. They're not going to be here. They're not going to come up. But I do find her story very interesting. It's something that we already know. We all know that the FBA, saying they have there's white people in their family. Especially, look, I've been to the South. I've been to the Carolinas, and going down there, you see mostly black dudes with chicks, with white chicks. It'd be black dudes with mediocre, not like fat and pretty white chicks, just like honey boo boo looking white chicks, right? So there's no way y'all gonna tell me that I am so shocked that there's white people that have black ancestry. There's no way you convince me of that. There's absolutely no way. You know what I'm saying? This should not be a surprise. Y'all should have been doing, look, according to you guys, love is love. If that's your concept, fine. But if that's your concept, y'all should have been gatekeeping your own people like, hey, Jamal, hey, Shantasia, what are you doing with Becky Sue? What are you doing there with Chad? No, you're not doing that. Y'all just let them go, have the little mulatto kids, say they got good hair, right? You show them off like you just won a prize, you just won the lottery on genetics, and you go around smiling and grinning. That's what y'all do, right? So when they kids grow up and they get with a white woman or another mulatto, and they kids looking whiter and whiter, so you get this lady over here, how can you be surprised? That's what I don't understand. That's what I totally don't understand. So anyway, so it looks like American Soul is not gonna come up. He's scared. He's scared. He, she, it, whatever. He's scared. Like what? What's going on? You having a problem taking down your teepee? Oh, my bad. You say you don't have a you don't got a mic. You don't got a mic. Okay. All right. You don't got a mic, but you got a keyboard. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, guys, I'm going to bring it to a close. He's not coming up. I just want to keep this kind of short because I kind of wanted to, just talk about Cory Bush and and this lady FBA attacking this lady over here. It's just all sad. But we got our brother Buana. What's up, Buana? Long time no hear. You kind of coming in choppy. All right. Yeah, I'll wait for you to come back. No problem. Yeah. Yeah. So I just found this very interesting because, I don't understand why FBA would attack a white woman that's saying that she has black ancestry. She's not saying she's black. Out of content that I look at, she never said that, saying she was black at all. Saying. So let me go through this. So our matron says she needs to also talk about slave breeding and and the force. Yeah, she doesn't go too deep into that. But I think she does allude to that because, again, if you look at her channel, she also told you like especially in the South, and we all know this, that if you're a white passing, if you're black and you're a white passing, you would just say that you're white, right? I spoke about with the filibuster with Strom Thurmond, where Cory Booker did his filibuster. And the filibuster gets Strom Thurmond, and Strom Thurmond, right, was an anti-segregation. He wanted segregation. He's pro Jim Crow, right, calling black people the nigger race and all that other stuff. But he had a black daughter, right? Saying he quote unquote, I don't know if the nation was rape or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it was his. He had a black maid and he had a daughter with her, right? So things like that happened in the big house. Sometimes I'd rather be in the field rather than the big houses. The big house, other things go on, especially if you're a black woman. The big houses could be probably one of the worst places where you could be in, even though you have the optics of comfort there, right? So yeah, she does allude to that. I don't know if she goes to how far she goes into it, but I would say she's pretty sure with that history. Right. He also says, we live in the legacy of that experience every day. Her ancestors escaped blackness by fully integrating into whiteness. This is the FBA dream, to be white while speaking to the black experience. that is true. What's up, Wada?
Kofi, can you hear me?
Oh, you're perfect now.
Good, man. I think you did a great job explaining.
I think you went out. I don't know if you can hear me. I think you went out, Buana. Yeah, I don't know. You might have to go out and come back in. You're not on mute or anything. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Buana, I'm gonna put you. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna put you away in the back. See, maybe you can need to come back in because yeah, I can't hear you. Yeah, try to come back in, because I couldn't. You went out, and I couldn't hear you. Right. KW Don 7 says FBA doesn't have the power to enforce any rules. Exactly. That's why they go online. They try to tell the people who they are, what they can't do, and everything, because they're powerless. Like, why are you getting mad of how things are? Like, take it up to the white man. Oh, but you worship the white man, so you can't take it up to the white man and tell him how, why you're so upset, right? Because they don't respect you. They don't respect you, and it sounds idiotic, right? Our brother Black Steel says these clowns don't speak for 99% of African Americans, no doubt. I'll say they don't even speak for 99.9% of African Americans, right? Oh, I hear you perfectly now, Bwana. Well, I don't hear. I see. I don't know what happened. You were there, now you're gone. I'll hold on for you for a little bit more. Yeah, so yeah, I'll wait for you for a little bit more, right? Our matron says, she has to identify as something for the census. What is she done as a census role? Well, from what I hear of her, she will put down white Irish. She would put down white Irish. So for the census, yes, she would put something down. But I think when she's talking about color, when we talk about who we are as far as like color, she says she wouldn't identify herself specifically as white, because what does that mean? Dr. Clark also says black tells you what you look like, it doesn't tell you who you are. And I can say the same thing with say for if someone says I'm white or I'm brown or I'm this or I'm that, so I think that's what she means by that. So yes, definitely on the census she will put white, European or whatever, but I don't think that'll be her ultimate identifier. I am a white woman and full stop, So what's up, Juana? Let's see.
Yeah, bro. I let me be quick because I don't know what this internet is gonna do. They I like the conversation you had about Crockett. Crockett is a good conversation, bro, because Crockett is unapologetically herself, and these people quick to call her ghetto and all kind of ridiculous names, saying, well, she don't speak English properly. English is a bastardized form of the Latin language.
Mm-hmm.
English is a ghetto form of Latin. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, before English, it's a ghetto form of French, German, Spanish.
Yeah, it's a mutt language. It's a mutt language.
So it's like these crazy people say, well, you're not speaking English proper. English is a ghetto language. But needless to say, America, Uncle Sam hates his children. Uncle Sam is the first baby daddy who neglects his own children. Miss Crockett was raised in the United States of America. With all the history of America, that's how she speaks. She is a creation of Uncle Sam. Now Uncle Sam says, oh, you ain't doing it properly. Well, she's your creation, Uncle Sam. Why would you refute her and say she ain't doing it right? Come on, man. Look at there's a lady in Congress right now called Larry Loomer. I think Laura Loomer.
Laura Loomer, yeah.
And another ghetto ass lady. I think that Crockett called her back build.
That's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I call her Marjorie Trailer Green.
These chicks are the most trailer park chicks in the world. No one comments to that ghettoism, but now they call Crockett Medea. That is really
he says she's the black Medea. That's insane, yo.
It's an insult, but I'm glad that she's standing firm. Between her and the Muslim chick, I like the both of them. Ilhan Omar.
Is she the Khalid?
No, Ilhan Omar. I like the
Ilhan Omar. Okay.
I like the both of them very much. I think that they have the testicular fortitude to really say what needs to be said, especially in this time. And I wish the both of them success. Now, our politics, as far as economics, we disagree. But I think that they are actually doing a very good job. I think the Democratic Party should hold on to these kinds of characters. And one other sister. There's a sister, a dark-skinned sister, man. She ran with Bernie Sanders. She was from Ohio.
Nina Turner?
Yes, sir. Nina Turner. those three ladies, oh man, they're
Nina Turner,
firebrands.
she's a firecracker.
So for me, they firebrands. I hope they hold on to these people. I know that next electoral year, Kamala Harris is going to have competition because the Democrats are probably going to have other candidates vie for that position. But to be honest with you, I think that Kamala Harris represents the best chance because Kamala Harris had less than a year to go against Trump, and she almost won. That's saying a whole lot, man. You know what I mean? That's saying a whole lot.
In a short space of time.
For a short space of time, she did a whole lot. So I don't think that she should get flushed down the toilet. I think she would make and like I say, this is me now. You know what I mean? I have different kinds of politics, but I think that she would be a very good candidate in going forward. I don't even think that Trump will last his whole 4 years, to be honest with you. I don't.
Hopefully he'll roll over and
it's
die.
on the Americans. It's on the Americans and what they decide to do.
Yeah.
As far as this particular lady, let me tell you something. And I'll be very brief for her.
Nah, take your time. This is your internet's acting a little up. I can hear you now, though. Yeah. You went out again, Bwana.
What happened? Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm trying to rush it before this internet start acting up. Kamala Harris, oh shit. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 1.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay,
so Kamala Harris, so this lady right now, jeans is a funny thing. That pops out. What if and now, a doctor. So it's like genetics is people know your history before oops happens, and then a black child comes out, and now the husband is condemning the woman because she didn't know about her black heritage. Because genes is funny like that. But I'll just leave it there, just to be very brief. Kofi, thank you for the.
Yeah, thanks, Juana. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's genes is very funny. And again, when I had did a show and I was talking about how people were saying that black people were all over the world, and there's black Chinese, and there's black Native Americans, and there's black here and black people all over the world. Like, no. That's not how it works. I mean, that's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like not evolution. That's mutations. But when it comes to kids, you have someone, take it like this, perfect example. You have a white woman and a black man, right? You have two couples, same makeup. White mother, black father. One comes out looking like Mariah Carey. The other one comes out looking like Halle Berry. Who looks more white, Halle Berry or Mariah Carey? Like when I first found out that Halle Berry mother was white, I was like, nah, hell no. No, wait, no, but she has a white mother. Same thing with Mariah Carey, white mother, black father, and they come out looking totally different. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to genes, you can't tell. There's a lot of people. There's a couple of people that I thought was fully white. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy that he always surprised me. That guy from Prison Break, not the big guy. If you know the show Prison Break, the other guy, the thinner guy, right? He's half black. I'm like, what? I'm thinking like, nah, one of your parents gotta be like mulatto or something like that, because he looked like a regular average white guy, blue eyes. There's no tint to his skin. If there's like a tint to his skin, like maybe he's like Italian or maybe he's Greek or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But nah, he is straight up white guy. So genes, yes, it's a crapshoot. And people say, well, black is the most dominant gene. Yeah, black is the most dominant gene, but it doesn't always play out that way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't always play out that way. But we have retro altered minds. It says great broadcast and conversation. That's just leaving some love. Them FBA cats are plain dumb. Sorry, but they are the lowest vibration amongst our people. Respect to you, bro. Thank you for passing through. Thanks for the props. KW Don 7 says Kamala Harris' career is over. I would like to know over in what way, because to me, how should I put it? I did an autopsy on why she lost. It was the fact that she didn't have a lot of time, one, but she got a lot of momentum, like our brother Buana said, right? But to me, this just shows that America is not ready yet for a black woman. It's like, take your time. We could deal with a black guy, but a black woman? Whoa, you're asking too much. She's black and she's a woman? Like, nah, come on now. We already know America, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to a woman, when it was Hillary Clinton, besides her politics, that I can't stand Hillary Clinton. But if Kamala Harris looked like Hillary Clinton, was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman, and had the same policies, I think she would have won more people over, right? Because her policies and what she stood for and what she stand for was good. Trump was a total opposite. Trump was a fucking mess. Trump was a goddamn mess. If one of the things Trump's did or didn't do, let's say his personal life, him being a rapist and a pedophile. Let's say like someone like Obama did that. That's all they would talk about. That's all they would talk about, right? So they always gonna grade a white man on a curve, especially if my choice is a black and a woman. I don't know. You're asking too much of the American people, but I feel okay. She isn't black. That's blasphemy. Okay. How is that blasphemy? Let me ask you a question. KW Don 7. Would you consider Bob Marley black? Would you consider Drake black? I don't know if you know these other artists, the Weeknd. Would you consider these people black? If you say yes to all of them or some of them, then you're being a hypocrite, because all those people are half black. They're white and they're black. Kamala Harris is half black and half Indian. So you got a black brown person that was raised as a black person, right? Her mother, her parents were a part of the civil rights era, fighting for civil rights, right? On top of that, her mother raised her as a black woman. So if you're not calling Bob Marley white, you cannot, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how you can say Kamala Harris is not black with her makeup and how she was raised. Now, I do understand you can have a person that's half black and half white, and they're raised with this racial ambiguity, like, oh, you can be whatever you want, and yada yada yada. Then you have a point. But to say she's not black with that particular type of pedigree is dishonest, in my view, right? So your response to this on Bob Marley is multiracial. Anytime you have a non-African parent, you are multiracial. I agree. You actually agree. But no one would say that Bob Marley's not black. No one goes around saying Bob Marley is multiracial. You know what I'm saying? No one would call Bob Marley a mulatto, right? That's my point. What you're saying is absolutely right. But no one will call Bob Marley a mulatto. He's multiracial. If someone say, "Oh, that black man Bob Marley did," black people are not going to go in an uproar like, "Oh, you can't call Bob Marley black. He's multiracial." No one's doing that, bro. Honestly, no one's doing that. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's you could be whatever the hell you want. If you're like a mulatto or a mulatto, and you're saying like, "Oh, well, I wasn't raised black, I was raised white," like Obama. Obama's a perfect example. Obama was not raised as a black man. From what I see, he was not taught to be a black man. The only thing black about him was his skin and his name. And growing up, This is what he's saying. The white people around him called him Barry, and he allowed it to happen because I can't say that name, Obama, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's a hard name. Where the hell are you from? And this is the thing I hate, I can't stand about white people. They can't say, they think the African names are so long and you can't pronounce it, but they can pronounce a 18-letter word that's in German or in Russian, right? But a 4 or 5 letter word, oh my God, that's so ethnic. Oh my God, that's so ethnic. Like, where you're from, right? And Obama was like, okay, you can call me Barry. Okay, Barry. So Obama is what, if I feel your argument is more relevant to. But people like your Bob Marley's, your Kamala Harris, and other people that are, or I even put Mariah Carey in that category. I was looking at Mariah Carey. I don't know if it was a documentary, but it was talking about how she was coming up, right? She was always in music, you know what I'm saying? She loves black music. She grew up with hip hop, but her first album, right? She didn't have complete creative liberty, and she wanted to do more black music, right? More black music as far as like have on like black artists. So her second album, she was like, oh, I want to do some rap. Oh, don't do the rap stuff. Like, that's too urban. And she's like, no. I'm black. I grew up with black people. I'm half black, whatever. This is the music that I've grown up on. I am doing this. I'm going to have a rap track on my album. If you don't want to do it, I'll go somewhere else. And that's the track she had with ODB, Old Dirty Bastard. She did the remix. I'm with heaven with my boyfriend. That song, whatever. So I'm like, whoa, this is a woman that will put her career on the line, sticking up for who she is and what she represents. When it comes to mulattoes, that's how, in my view, is how you're supposed to judge mulattoes. You just can't say, well, oh, they're mulattoes, so, they're white or they're just most. No, this is a black person. This is a black person. Because you got people like that's bliggity black, like Candace Owens, and she might as well be a white woman. So when we talk about color, what are we really talking about? You being black doesn't automatically make you pro-black or you for your people, right? That's kind of like what the woman that I showed you was trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody, just because you put a label on somebody doesn't mean that they're going to act accordingly to that label that society has given them, right? He says, the general consensus is that Africans, by and large, accept multiracials as black to our detriment. I also agree with that. But my only pushback to that is that you can't write off people that have that background that show you their worth. Like, hey, look, I'm a black person. You know what I'm saying? Like your Bob Marley's and people of that nature, your Kamala Harris will talk about being black and things like that. Now, I don't agree with everything that Kamala Harris does, no, but when it comes to this particular job, right, by far, she's the best person. And I don't see anything that was anti-black about her political stances, even when it comes to black people. Trump had a lot of anti-black stances when it comes to everybody that was not a white Christian male. You know what I'm saying? So when you say Kamala Harris, career is doomed, I get it. But I think right now I think the only way if she gets back in the race, it will be interesting. I'm not saying for her not to get back in the race in the next 4 years, but I think she will have a chance because this political climate has gone so far right that people that voted for Trump and that are like conservatives or anything like that, it's okay. We've gone so far right. We need to be kind of like center left, right? So you have like center leftists and stuff like that. That would whoever is going to put their hat in the ring when it comes to running for president. I think that person will have luck. And yeah, people like Kamala Harris would. I think the only reason why Kamala Harris won't, I don't know, she would have a chance if America were able to deal with, when I say deal, I mean not like there's issues, because there's nothing wrong being black, there's nothing wrong with being a woman. But America as a whole is very racist and sexist towards, it's just racist, right? Kind of, sort of, got over that with Obama. So, okay, kind of, sort of. But they're sexist too at the same time. So you're kind of asking a lot from America. Wait, you want us to accept not be racist and sexist at the same time? Like, you're asking a lot. Like in Mexico and in I think in oh my God, I forgot what Caribbean country that is. They have female presidents. They're over it. They have no problem. They have Shinebound in Mexico. You know, there's a lot of places. England have had female presidents. So the question is, maybe America is ready for a female president, but I don't know if they're ready for a black or accept. I'm sorry, I should use the word accept a black female president, no matter how qualified she is. But that's really about it. I hope I got everybody. I hope I covered everybody with your comments. Try to reach everybody's comments. But that's about it. I really thank everybody for coming out. I just wanted to I would like to do lives every week, but life happens, and when I'm really passionate about a topic, I try to do my best to do a live. Like I said, this conversation continue in the comments. I please ask you to like, share, and subscribe. And Been a Medicine podcast, he took off this week, so shout out to Koku. He always come in bringing fire topics. He was off this week. I hope everything is good with him. Yeah. Yes, Barbados. Yes, thank you, KW Don 7. Yes, Barbados. But there's a bunch of black people there, so it's okay. But in America, where it's mostly white people, there'd be more acceptance of a white female president. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, other places where there's way more progressive than America. America is behind when it comes to that. So yeah, please check out please check out that I think it's NY7 that her channel, right? NYTN is very interesting when she talks about what is black and why people change the meaning of what black is. Like that is very interesting. And yeah, shout out to everybody that came on the panel, to Buana, and I think it was a couple other people that was trying to make it, didn't make it. And thank you to Brother Cory for contributing to making this live good. He gave me some information that I learned. So that was helpful. But thank you, everybody. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and continue the conversation in the chat. Until next time, peace.